to Be Less Stupid. I'm your host, John Hotchkiss. We've been counting down Team Trump's Russia lies, of which there are more than 100. On this episode, we're up to lies 36 through 42, and they were told by President Donald Trump himself. These 6 lies happened on January 11th, 2017, during a press conference at Mar-a-Lago, just 10 days before Trump took the oath of office, and 1 day after CNN and BuzzFeed had released the Steele Dossier. I hope that you are wearing a raincoat, because the bullshit is going to be flying hard and fast.
Again, I think it's a disgrace that information would be let out. I saw the information, I read the information outside of that meeting. It's all fake news, it's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
Fake news didn't happen, he says. That is what Trump thinks about the Steele Dossier. That it's fake news and that it didn't happen. That is just bullshit. Lots of the Steele Dossier has been proven absolutely true. Just 4 days before Trump's press conference, on January 6th, 2017, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a report that said Vladimir Putin himself had ordered and Russia had engaged in an influence campaign to affect the U.S. election to benefit Donald Trump. Here's a quote from that report. Russian regime has been cultivating, supporting, and assisting Trump for at least 5 years. Aim, endorsed by Putin, has been to encourage splits and divisions in Western alliance. One of the entries in Steele's report from about 1 month after the Trump Tower meeting with Don Jr., Jared Kushner, and Paul Manafort and the Russian lawyers said, quote, there was a well-developed conspiracy of cooperation between Team Trump and the Russian leadership. A second Steele Dossier entry reports a source saying, quote, that the Kremlin had been feeding Trump and his team valuable intelligence on his opponent, including Hillary Clinton, for several years.
It should never have been, number one, shouldn't have even entered paper, but it should never have been released. But I read what was released, and I think it's a disgrace. I think it's an absolute disgrace.
Look, we know that that is a lie. I'm talking, of course, about the part where Trump said he read the report. Thanks to that new book, Fire and Fury, we now know that Trump does not read. Also, we know that nearly everyone around him thinks that he's a fucking moron.
Well, you know, President Putin and Russia put out a statement today that this fake news was indeed fake news. They said it totally never happened. Now, somebody would say, oh, of course he's going to say that. I respected the fact that he said that. And I'll be honest, I think if he did have something, they would have released it. They would have been glad to release it.
Again, this is bullshit. In August of 2016, as we now know, Trump was briefed by the heads of the intelligence agencies and told that Russians would attempt to infiltrate his presidential campaign. We also now know that at that meeting, the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, CIA Director John Brennan, and FBI Director James Comey told Trump conclusively that they had, quote, captured Putin's specific instructions on the operation to hack the 2016 election. It is the collective conclusion of the U.S. intelligence community that Russia interfered in our election in order to hurt the candidacy of Hillary Clinton and help that of Donald Trump. Incidentally, that August FBI meeting took place just 2 months after Don Jr.'s Trump Tower meeting with the Russian lawyer, and no one on Team Trump mentioned it to the FBI. And thanks to the reporting in the new book, Fire and Fury, we now also know, thanks to Steve Bannon, that, quote, the chance that Don Jr. did not walk these jummos up to his father's office on the 26th floor is 0. I want you to let that sink in. Steve Bannon says that Don Jr. walked the Russian lawyer with dirt on Hillary Clinton up to his father's office, which means that every time since June 2016 that Trump says that Russia is a hoax, that he has nothing to do with Russia, that Russia is a lie.
No, I have nothing to do with Russia.
He is lying to you. Every time Trump says Russia is a ruse, Russia is a hoax, Russia is fake news, Trump is lying. Incidentally, I looked up the word jummo. It's apparently some kind of slur, and Steve Bannon invented it. It appears to refer to junior Moscow operatives.
I have to follow up on some of these Russia remarks. Based on your comments here today, do you believe the hacking was justified? Does Russia have any leverage over you, financial or otherwise? And if not, will you release your tax returns to prove it?
So I tweeted out that I have no dealings with Russia. I have no deals in Russia. I have no deals that could happen in Russia because we've stayed away. And I have no loans with Russia.
Where to begin? This press conference is January 11th, 2017. As we now know, just 12 days earlier, on December 29th, Mike Flynn made secret calls to the Russian ambassador to encourage him not to overreact to Obama's sanctions for meddling in the U.S. election because the Trump administration would dial them back when they took office. When asked by the FBI if he had discussed those sanctions with Russia, Flynn lied, said that he did not. Flynn has since pled guilty to a felony and is now cooperating with the Mueller investigation. Remember this? Trump tweeted back on December 3rd, 2017, that he knew that Mike Flynn had lied to the FBI. And how would he know this? He'd know this if he told Mike Flynn to lie. Did President Trump, in the first days of his presidency, tell his national security advisor to lie about his Russian contacts? That is the question we're all waiting for the Mueller investigation to reveal. Well, that and also, how the fuck do you spell Papadopoulos?
Tweet that you had this morning about are we living in Nazi Germany? What were you driving at there? What are you trying to tell them?
I think it was disgraceful that the intelligence agencies allowed any information that turned out to be so false and fake out. I think it's a disgrace. And I say that. And that's something that Nazi Germany would have done and did do. I think it's a disgrace. That information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public.
Look, we already know that some of the Steele dossier is true. My guess here, the part that has Trump pissed is, well, the part about piss. The part about him watching as prostitutes pee on the same bed that the Obamas used when they were in Moscow. Now look, I do not know if that story is true, but if Trump gets to believe that the crowd at the inauguration was bigger than Obama's crowd, then I get to believe that he paid to watch Russian prostitutes pee on a bed.
As far as we understand it, the intelligence community are still looking at these allegations. It's false news, as you describe it. If they come back with any kind of conclusion that any of it stands up, that any of it is true, will you consider your position? Would you think
there's nothing they can come back?
There's nothing that they could come back with? Now I know that he doesn't read, because if he did, he would know at least some of the following. That his advisor, George Papadopoulos, had gotten drunk and told the Australian ambassador to the UK that Russia had dirt on Hillary Clinton. That his advisor, Carter Page, held secret meetings with Russian officials in Moscow. That Don Jr. met with Russian officials at the NRA convention in Kentucky and at Trump Tower. And that both Jared Kushner and Jeff Sessions had secret meetings with the Russian ambassador. Plus all the shit that Mike Flynn did and whatever fucking crimes Paul Manafort has committed.
Mr. President-elect, you said just now that you believe that Russia indeed was responsible for the hacking of the DNC and John Podesta's emails, etc.
Well, Russia, but you know what? Could have been others also.
But why?
No, it wasn't others. And he knows it. Remember, back in August of 2016, the FBI, the CIA, and the Director of National Intelligence told him it was Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. The question that needs to be answered is this. Why hasn't Melania alerted the police to her own kidnapping? Well, that and why did Trump's team lie nearly 100 times? That I found, and right, it's probably more. Is it because Trump owes Russia, its oligarchs, or banks that Russia controls billions of dollars? Is Trump being blackmailed because the Russians have a videotape of him with a prostitute? Or is it worse than that? Do they have video of him dancing at his housekeeper's daughter's quinceañera? That would be bad for Trump. Or did Trump agree to eliminate economic sanctions against Russia in exchange for their help to win the presidency? Remember, here at Be Less Stupid, we have found nearly 100 of Team Trump's Russia lies. I'm going to post 5 new ones every Monday and 5 more on Thursday. And they're going to be in chronological order. And you can see them all at our website, that's factbox.tv, or better yet, you can get them delivered right to your timeline by liking our Facebook page. That's all you got to do, like our Facebook page. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing this content with your friends on social media. For Be Less Stupid, I'm the host, John Hotchkiss.